Welcome to the new book releases for the week of February 10th. This week, there are some exciting ones that I have been waiting for that, I still won't get read anytime soon, but I am excited for them. There will be timestamps between the genres as usual, and I'm Morgan if this is your first time here. I hope you find something you want to pick up off this list. We're going to be starting the week off in fantasy. The first one up is the third book in a series. Also, possibly the conclusion. I think this is a trilogy situation. I did look it up and I no longer remember. That's where we are. That would be Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales by Heather Fawcett. Emily Wilde has spent her life studying fairies. A renowned dryadologist, she has documented hundreds of species of folk in her Encyclopedia of Fairies, the first book. Now she is about to embark on her most dangerous academic project yet, studying the inner workings of the fairy realm. So a lot of people call this series cozy, and I can't agree with that because the fairies and fairy folk tales are like the original kind of dark kind of fairies. These aren't cute fairies; these are devious little beings. But they are a common occurrence in everyday life in this historical kind of fantasy, and as it said, Emily Wilde is a professor and a researcher of this. She is also a bit autistic in the fact that she doesn't know how to interact with people around her. She would much rather just study and research. And in the first book, she has gone off to work on her Encyclopedia of Fairies, and her work rival shows up, and Wendell is just a bubble of sunshine and a people person, and he kind of only wants to help her. From there, though, we're moving to... this would be the fourth book in the world, but not... I don't think it's directly connected. It's just set in the same world as these other books by the author. That's The Crimson Road by A.G. Slater, a captivating dark gothic fantasy set in the same universe as All the Murmuring Bones, The Path of Thorns, and The Briar Book of the Dead? The Briar Book of the Dead. Okay. A tale of vampires, assassins, and ancient witches and broken promises. Violet Zenor has a peculiar upbringing, training as a fighter in the underground arenas, honing her skills against the worst scum, murderers, and thieves her father could pit her against. She has learned to be ruthless, to kill. Until the day Hendrik Zenor dies, Violet thinks she's free, and then she learns that her father planned to send her to the Darklands, where the Leech Lords reign, where Violet's stillborn brother was taken years ago. Violet steadfastly refuses, until one night 2 assassins attempt to slaughter her, and it becomes clear she's going to have to clean up the mess her father made. So very intriguing. Very intriguing. I haven't read any of the other works by this, though, so I don't know what to make of it. From there, though, we're going to be moving into YA. Our first one up is a YA fantasy, The Forest King's Daughter by Eli Blake. Once upon a time, among the blood-red trees of Thirstwood, a young forest princess became friends with a lonely boy from underground. He gifted her an amber ring, a worthless trinket, or so he thought, because no sooner did he slide it on her finger than the queen of the underground and the forest king declared war. Years later, Cassia is a crucial force in her father's army, wielding her ring of light that can blind and disorient hundreds of enemies at a time. Then battle-hardened Zero abducts her, planning to steal the ring back to fix his costly childhood mistake. Exhausted, terrified, and more than a little mistrusting, Cassia is forced to travel with Zero to the place they both believed only existed in storybooks, one where their childhood friendship slowly rekindles into something much more. This is supposed to be the first in a series listed for fans of Folk of the Air, and there was another comp title, and it's like when I've read it I was like, oh, this sounds and feels a lot like this one, but that name is gone now. From there, though, we're moving into YA thrillers with Wicked Darlings by Jordan Taylor. Aspiring journalist Noah has a secret she's been keeping. Ever since her sister's tragic death, she's felt almost relieved. Noah and Leah had been locked in competition with one another since childhood, and things came to a head when her sister scored a glitzy internship at a New York society newspaper. Noah can't help but revel in her newfound anonymity. But when she gets a lead about the sketchy circumstances surrounding her sister's untimely death, she knows she needs to investigate. She owes it to Leah. Noah sets out to infiltrate the seedy underbelly of Manhattan high society to investigate her sister's final days. I'm not entirely certain that I said her name right, but maybe, and it sounds very interesting. Investigative reporting, thrilling, near-death experiences. From there, we're moving into adult thrillers with The Dollhouse Academy by Margarita Montemore. Ivy Gordon is living on borrowed time. For the past 18 years, she has been the most famous star at the Dollhouse Academy, the elite boarding school and talent incubator that every aspiring performer dreams of attending. But now, at age 34, she is tired of pretending everything is fine. In secret diary entries, Ivy begins to reveal the truth of her life at the dollhouse. Strange medical exams, mysterious supplements, and something unspeakable that's left Ivy terrified and feeling like a prisoner. Ramona Holloway and her best friend, Grace Ludlow, grew up idolizing Ivy. Now both 22, neither has made much headway in showbiz until a lucky break grants them entry to the dollhouse. They're enchanted by the picturesque campus and the chance to perform alongside their idols. But can Ivy help save these girls from the fate that she endured? Especially as one is quickly rising and the other is fizzling and maybe jealous. Moving to a different sort of mystery thriller, You Are Fatally Invited by Andy Pelago. When renowned anonymous author J.R. Allister hires former aspiring writer Mila de Angel to host a writing retreat at his private manor off the coast of Maine, she jumps at the chance, particularly since she's had an axe to grind with one of the invitees. The guest list, 6 thriller authors, all masters of deceit, misdirection, and mayhem. Confess the crimes, survive the tropes. Alistair and Mila have mastered a week of games, trope-fueled riddles, and maybe a jump scare or two. The perfect cover for Mila to plot a murder of her own. But when a guest turns up dead and it's not the murderer she planned, Mila finds herself trapped in a different narrative altogether. So, locked room, isolated island environment situation where things are getting out of hand in their games. Moving on into fiction, The Queens of Crime by Mary Benedict, London, 1930. The 5 greatest women crime writers have banded together to form a secret society with a single goal, to show they are no longer willing to be treated as second-class citizens by their male counterparts in the legendary Detection Club. Led by the formidable Dorothy L. Sayers, the group includes Agatha Christie, Iago Marsh, Marjorie Algerham, and Baroness Emma Orczy. They call themselves the Queens of Crime. Their plan? Solve an actual murder, that of a young woman found strangled in a park in France, who may have connections leading to the highest levels of British establishment. I butchered most of those authors' names. They are real authors' names, and just like our authors today, I butchered their names. Then we have Every Tom, Dick, and Harry by Eleanor Lipman. Taking over her parents' estate sale business is not the life's work that Emma Lewis bargained for. Yes, she grew up helping them empty people's nests, but nothing prepared her for her biggest and stickiest get, the grand, beautiful house of ill repute, masquerading as a decidedly bettable B&B. Should Emma turn down the potential clients in need of decluttering just because they are shady, escorty, and proud of it? No, a girl must make a living. I'm not entirely sure how this story is gonna go, because that's just about the entire description right there. Into romance, we start with We All Live Here by Jojo Moyes. I should really know how to say her name. There's so many books, so many people have said her name. Lila Kennedy has a lot on her plate: a broken marriage, 2 wayward daughters, a house that is falling apart, and an elderly stepfather who seems to have quietly moved in. Her career is in free fall, her love life is complicated. So when her real dad, a man she's barely seen since he ran off to Hollywood 35 years ago, suddenly appears on her doorstep, it feels like the final straw. But it turns out even the family you thought you could never forgive might have something to teach you about love and what it actually means to be family. Guys, I do believe that is the entire description. I have no idea how this is a romance. From there, we have First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. Aidan Valentine has a secret. He's fallen out of love with love. And as the host of Baltimore's Romance Hotline, that's a bit of a problem. But when a young girl calls into the station asking for dating advice for her mom, the interview goes viral, thrusting Aidan and heartstrings into the limelight. Lucy Stone thought she was doing just fine. She has a good job, an incredible family, and a smart, slightly devious kid. But when all of Baltimore is suddenly scrutinizing her love life, or lack thereof, she begins to question if she's as happy as she believed. Maybe a little more romance wouldn't be such a bad thing. That sounds really sweet, really kind of sweet. I think this is also in like at least 2 book boxes. Then we have a novella, but not too bold, by Hashi Peo? I'm so sorry. The old keeper of the keys is dead, and the creature who ate her is the volatile lady of Capricious House, Antima, an enormous humanoid spider with a taste for laudanum and human brides. Dahlia, the old keeper's protege, must take up her duties, locking and unlocking the little drawers in which Antima keeps her memories. And if she can unravel the crime that led to her predecessor's execution, Dahlia might just be able to survive long enough to grow into her new role. But there's a gaping hole in Dahlia's plan that she refuses to see. Antima cannot resist a beautiful woman, and she eventually devours every single bride that crosses her path. Now, this is a novella, and from the description, I have no idea what to make of this. The conclusion of the Ruinous Love Trilogy, Scythe and Sparrow by Brianne Weaver. Dr. Finnan Kane is running from a broken heart, one he hopes to mend in a small town Nebraska far away from his almost fiancée and his derailed surgical career. It's a simpler life, head down, hard work, and absolutely no romantic relationships. He wants none of the circus he left behind in Boston. But then the real circus finds him. Motorcycle performer Rose Evans has spent a decade on the road with the Silviera Circus, and it suits her just fine, especially when she has the urge to indulge in a little murder when she's not in the spotlight. But when a kill goes awry and she ends up with a broken leg, Rose finds herself stuck in Nebraska at the home of the adorably nerdy town doctor. That was the first time I've ever read the description for it, and that just went in lots of directions. So she's the motorcycle rider. I like the sound of nerdy town doctor. Yes, but okay, so much there. Okay. Those are all the ones for this week's list. If you know of any other ones coming out, though, this week that you're looking forward to, feel free to drop them in the comments so we could all find out about them. Maybe you were able to find one to pick up off this list. If you enjoyed this video, you could hit that like button. Check out some of my other stuff to see if you want to subscribe and stick around, because every week we talk about new books coming out. I hope you're having a great day, finding something good to read, and I'll see you in the next one.